Hey, it's Russell here from Adelaide West Physio and Pilates, and I just thought I would share a few things that I've learnt in the last few days to do with reducing the spread of the coronavirus. In my, and I'm happy to be corrected on this if any of this is incorrect, but from my understanding, there's really two methods of coronavirus getting into your respiratory system. One is direct transmission from droplets from a sneeze or a cough, which is the idea of protecting your mouth and putting your elbow over the front and the 1.5 metre distancing. But the other way is transfer of the virus to your mouth or nose or face. And in my opinion, I don't know that that aspect of it has been emphasised enough. So they talk about social distancing, they talk about 1.5 metres, they talk about 4 metres, 4 metres squared per person in an inside space. But that really doesn't emphasise the importance of not touching your face. It just seems like such an important factor if you're looking to eliminate the chances, dare I say, eliminate the chances of getting the virus, then the best way, apart from staying away from people that are sneezing and coughing, is not transferring it to your respiratory system. I'm happy to be corrected if I'm wrong on that, but it just seems to be something that needs to be emphasised more and more, in my humble opinion. I was watching a YouTube video that someone kindly shared with us on the VIP page, and it was recorded. It was a bit quiet, and I thought it's worthwhile, it's good enough video to just highlight some of the points, and I'll put the link to it as well. It's by a doctor from the US called Shannon Shea, who's a PhD in applied behavioural analysis, and she shares this idea of habit reversal. How do you stop yourself touching your face? Because a lot of us have got habits of doing it without even realising that we're doing it. And she's got a technique that's been around since the 70s, I'm pretty sure she said, and it's used for helping with habits like tics and Tourette's behaviours and ums and ahs and hair pulling and skin scratching and all things like that. This has also got lots of applications for many other things, obviously, but in terms of stopping you from touching your face, it seems like a really simple method and it's worth trying out. So there's two parts to it. There's awareness training, and this part is all about describing the habit in as much detail as you can, what it feels like when you've got the urge to do it. So I'm going to use alcohol, clean my hand first because I don't want to get the thing. So describe in as much detail as you can to someone else, or write it down, what it feels like when you just got to touch your nose or when you've got to touch your mouth, and be as specific as you can about the feeling. It feels like I've got an itch there, I just need to get in there and give it a little bit of pain and it'll make it feel better, or whatever it might be. And she defines face touching as any time you make physical contact with your face within 5 centimetres of your mouth, nose or eyes. And importantly, that includes nail biting, finger biting, nose picking for the kiddies, eye rubbing, itching, all of those things are included. And often you're unaware that you're doing it. So the first part is that awareness training, and then the next part, which is worth doing once you've washed your hands, is doing 10 repetitions of touching that area and saying touching each time and covering a whole area. So it would be like, so you start with your hands down, you go touching, 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 using both hands, touching, I've lost count, touching. So you do 10 repetitions, and then you might do it for the nose and for the mouth as well. And then And the idea of doing it all over is important too, so that you're covering the whole area, not just one spot each time, you're covering the whole area. And then the second part to it is the competing response training, which I thought was quite interesting. So you start with your hands folded across your arms, or something that uses both hands, and you almost touch the part, you go, and then you bring your hands back down again, and almost touch and come back down. So you're not actually touching each time, you're doing almost touching, and you're practicing the feeling of almost touching but not quite. And you do 15 repetitions, so you might do 15 around the eyes, or 15 around the nose, or 15 around the lips. So you're engaging in the behaviour, but you're stopping yourself from engaging in the behaviour completely. You're stopping yourself from touching. Great idea. I think it's worth trying out, particularly if you're someone that is habitually touching your face, or likes to bite your finger, or whatever that might be. She talks about how to work out if it's working or not. And I thought this was an interesting exercise to try anyway. Just setting up your mobile phone or computer or iPad or whatever, and set it up on your coffee table while you're watching TV, and record an hour of it recording you, and then taking a sample of that time, maybe the 15 minutes between half an hour and 45 minutes, and counting how many times you actually touch your face. And you could probably scrub through it, twice speed or 4 times speed and count, but just keeping a tally of how many times you actually touch your face in that period of time. I thought it was interesting. Ideally, you do it before you do this, what did she call it? Habit reversal technique, before you do the whole lot, and then do it afterwards too. But I think even doing it afterwards on its own would be a useful exercise to do. So anyway, some ideas there. Like I said, stay safe, don't touch your face. Ciao.